hard to get half, right?
Oh,
So I
I
left
like
home,
that.
went to college, worked hard, got good grades, got my first job, and I'm all excited. I'm a first generation college student, and I walk into corporate America, my first job. I've got my shiny new degree, my brand new suit on. I'm full of anticipation and hope. But what I didn't expect to feel was so alone. As I looked around that office, nobody looked like me.
Okay.
Nobody in leadership looked like me, right? And so I started to feel like, is anybody going to validate me? Is anybody going
Ooh.
to validate my thoughts and feelings?
Mhm.
And so I would go to work every day looking for that validation. On some days I would get it, on other days I wouldn't. So I defaulted to what my hardworking parents taught me. I worked hard. I exceeded my numbers the first year. I diligently learned how the job was done. Second year, I'm already, outperforming all of my colleagues. Third year, I'm still working. I've got the best KPIs in the department. And I look around, and my colleagues are getting promoted, and I'm not. So I thought maybe it's my education. I'll go back and get my master's degree. So I go back and get my master's degree. Year 4, year 5, year 6, I'm still kicking butt, doing a great job, excellent performance reviews, no promotion. Year 7, year 8. And finally I go to my director and I say, look, I don't think this is the place for me. I've worked hard all these years. I have exemplary performance, great performance reviews. I've gone back and got my master's degree, and yet I still keep getting passed over for promotion. And he said, you know what? I've been waiting to have this conversation. You're right. You are the hardest worker in this department, but that is all you will ever be until you learn to network. He said,
Wow.
people are hired, fired, promoted, and demoted over drinks, golf, water cooler conversations. And he said, you come in, you get down, you're doing your work, but I've been taught that's what was needed to get ahead. And I was, David, I was pissed. Like, you mean to tell me all these years I've been working hard, I've back and achieved a master's degree, and I was never going to get promoted because I don't network? But you know what? That turned out to be the best advice of my career. And honestly, I couldn't change that company because it was uncomfortable. I had already established who I was. But when I
Correct.
left that organization, my personal mantra became hard workers work hard and networkers move up. And I instilled that in my career. I started to branch out, get to know people more, get more involved, gain the exposure that I needed. And at my next job, which happened to be at Porsche Cars North America, I was able to end I retired in January as the first African American executive for Porsche in the world.
Come on.
And I was able to retire in January of this year just because I changed my mantra. I changed the way I did things, and I started to work more on my image and my exposure. Now, don't get me wrong, I still had to work up to the 50%. I realized that, I realized that hard work alone is not enough to get
Mm.
me to the next level. And I have spent the later part of my career, and that's what I do now. I help people to understand how important their potential is. There's performance and there's potential,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Absolutely.
Hard workers that just work hard. If you're the hardest working person in the company, but nobody knows who you are, what good is it? If you have the best business in the world, but nobody knows about it, how is it going to grow? It's very important that you work on your exposure. That's 60% of the equation as to whether or not you grow and your image. So I work with individuals and entrepreneurs to help them to increase their potential.
Well, I would say that everything you said, I did it in the opposite way, it,
Mm.
because I was social, so so
Ah.
I used college as my platform to the point that when I graduated, I walked away from the gym that I was not running at the time. I was just working at, and they offered me the management job. So I understood it as all my social skills. Again, I thank my parents for that upbringing, but I was involved in everything. College for me was truly an experience, from fraternities to business college council to everything. So I was a social butterfly. So that I totally understand, because there was people that were maybe smarter than me that just were not able to cross to the other side because they were not able to speak their mind. And later on, after I coach all these women, I wrote a seminar, Defining You and Those Around You. And I talk about that specific point, that we define ourselves by our environment, by everyone else, and never by ourselves. And you said it, even when the gentleman said to you, here's what you need to do, I'm going to give you the formula, you already define yourself as, hey, I'm not doing it here. And it's really interesting, but those defining moments in life are the ones that literally push us to the next level if we choose to go to the next level.
Absolutely. And what I found when I looked around and started to watch people that I admire, people who were moving up in corporate America, was you don't necessarily have to be the most qualified as long as you have the right exposure, the right image, and the right sponsors and mentors in the organization.
Correct.
Right? And so you don't have to be the most qualified. It's aptitude and attitude, right? And if you have the right attitude and you make the right connections, you can be trained to do what's needed to do in the organization.
Absolutely. But I want to add to the audience, like, listen to what she's saying, but there's still, she said, mentors and support. Remember, there's still an education that needs to take part somewhere in there.
Absolutely.
Because you can get lucky and get there, and you know what? Luck can get you just there, but if you don't have it, you're going to fall, and you're going to fall hard. So, I mean, I always tell people,
there's a balance.
Yes.
There's a balance. So if you look at your potential as a pie, right? There's three factors: performance, image, and exposure.
Mm-hmm.
Performance is only 10% of that pie. Now it's 150% of effort that goes in that 10%, right? But exposure is 60% and image is 30%. But it's a very delicate balance. And I was just having this conversation with a mentee of mine today. You could be overexposed. So like you talk about your history, you were very outgoing, you're an extrovert, right? You can be overexposed. You could be seen all the time, you can have all the, but if your work does not speak
Amen.
to quality, right? Then eventually you're gonna run into a lid. Right?
Correct.
So you've got to have a balance. You've got to be a hard worker, but you've also got to get that exposure so that people know who you are. That you have a reputation for excellence. You're a person that people know, like, and trust. So that's how people promote people. They promote people they know, like, and trust.
Absolutely. But there's one comment you said earlier, and I want to kind of enforce that, is that she, when Crystal talk about, she was doing the work. And here's the thing. A lot of people would say, well, if I'm number one in the company, then people know who I am. I said, okay, sure. But then there is that other side of it where she is not like everybody else. So then it's like, who is going to step forward and make that decision and say, Crystal deserves this, right? And we're not going into the business side of it, or we're not going into like politics or anything like that today. But I want to say that because it is the truth. It is clear that if you don't look a certain way, or you are in a male-dominated position, and here comes a woman that's doing it all, it's not always that they don't want to, is that they have to, someone has to make that choice. Someone has to step forward and do that. So the reason I'm saying that is because if you get that social part out, if you get that exposure side off, then people can relate to you, no matter the color of your skin, no matter the sex, no matter anything. You can overcome certain things, because I've been in companies where I saw certain things, but yet that person didn't get promoted because it was so like easy for the person to say, everybody likes her, everybody likes him. So again, your point is very, very clear. I just wanted to kind of enforce that issue, because again, it goes down to, your image, your exposure, but also your image has to be clean. You have to be able to, don't be dumb in social media. Don't.
Exactly. There's a balance.
All it takes is one post and you're toast. That's what I always say.
Overexposed.
One post can be toast and you're done. So tell me, okay, so I got the book idea. I get your testimonial. Thank you for sharing that with us. Now, where does because I'm in women empowerment. That's what I do. So I have a whole women's conference about that. And you are literally, this is your game right now, right? You started this amazing company. Tell me about it.
So the company is called Sister Diamonds, and I'm show with my partner, Dr. Nicola Beach, and it's a really an interesting story. We met when I was in corporate America, and she wanted to do business with my company, and we came together, two professional women to have lunch and talk business, and the lunch lasted like 3 hours. We literally closed the restaurant down. We connected on a different level, on a spiritual level, and we just started, but we were laughing, we were crying. We just had such a very transparent conversation that neither one of us expected to have. And that developed a friendship. And so we met again maybe 6 months later. Same thing happened. And then 6 months after that, I left my company and started my own company. And she called me and she said, I just found out you left corporate America and I want to celebrate you.
I like that.
She said, I want to celebrate you. I've been an entrepreneur for almost 20 years. I'm out here doing it. Anything that I can do to support you, I will do. And we met for brunch, and 8 hours later, we started this company called Sister Diamonds. Now, Sister Diamonds is a women's empowerment brand, and it is to elevate and uplift women and provide professional and personal development. We have, underneath the Sister Diamonds brand, we have the Brilliance Conference, which is a leadership conference for women, because we have to choose one another, right? Because when you look at the numbers, the McKinsey 2019 study says where there's a break in women in leadership is that shift from an individual contributor to a leader, to management. There's a broken rung right there. But beneath the management level, there's parity between men and women. But when you start to go into leadership, there's a broken branch right here. So we are focused on helping women to mend that bridge, that from individual contributor to manager. And then the other brand that we have is called International Slumber Party. And that is, oh my God, I'm so excited. It's for young women between the ages of 18 to 25. And it is focused on young women of color all over the world. And we started this brand pre-COVID. And COVID came in and it made it even more important to do it. We're bringing together 10,000 young women of color.
Wow.
From all over the world. And it's not just a slumber party where we paint our nails and we gossip. It's about learning, development, growing, developing sister connections all over the world. It's a 24-hour virtual event that's being held via a 3D ISP mansion, we call it. We've had our designers create a beautiful mansion. Behind every door is leadership and development, beauty and body positivity topics. We've got slay nation.
Come on.
We've got boss moves.
Wow.
We've got the empower room, and we even have networking by the pool, David.
Well, so this is going to be once a year, right? Or twice a year? Okay. Once a year, the conference, global, 10,000 women. Plus, she has her other company as well, the other brand that she's doing. But I want to emphasize something that she talked about. And I'll tell you this, and I'll share this with you as bluntly as possible. When I started doing women empowerment, for me, it's very difficult as a man to step into that movement, right? And this is before Me Too, and this is before any of that stuff. I had coached over 100 women. I did a case study, and I found out that 60-something% had been abused, 30+ percent had gone through body imaging, body dysmorphia, addiction, anorexia, bulimia, things like that. And I found and say, why would God put these women in my life after cancer? This is all after cancer. But it was a little bit difficult for me to believe that I had a space in it. But I'll tell you, after 16 seminars and 2 conferences, I tell you, I know my space. But here's a really cool thing I heard, and you mentioned that about leadership, is that women empower women all the time. There's a difference in some of these women. And what they do is they'll tell you, you need to buy my product, you need to buy my services, but then we don't empower you. We compete with you. And this is what a lot of people told me when they came to my conference and my seminars was, I want a woman that will empower me and support me and elevate me. And you just said that, leadership. And that is a missing factor. That's a broken branch. And I hope I'm kind of connecting with you in the branch. I'm kind of putting it together. And that is the one thing with me. I'm a woman. So nothing that I have to say is to compete with you. Everything that I have to say is I've learned through empathy and learn about what these women have gone through. They share with me for me to be able to guide them towards that leadership. So I love that you said that exact term, because that just makes me feel even more comfortable about doing anything with you in the future, because that is the missing piece. That is the broken branch. Is like women shouldn't be competing. If you're going to empower women, empower them and support them and push them towards leadership, because they too deserve to have their own company, like, the same way like you do.
Absolutely. That is the entire premise of Sister Diamonds, right? My light does not diminish your light.
Come on. There you go.
So we as women should support each other. We should choose one another. And there's a narrative out there that is exactly what you said. We compete with each other, or there's only room for one at the top. And it's like King of the Hill when we were kids, right? It's only room for one woman at the top. So if you try to come, I'm going to kick you down. But that's not true sisterhood. And women like my partner, Dr. Nicola Beach, who reached out and said, let me celebrate you. Mm-hmm. Those women have been so important in my life. And I've had women say to me throughout the years, because I've got a lot of beautiful women like that in my circle. And I've had women say to me, how can you be around that many women and y'all not be catty? And that's because that's not who we are. So we want to teach other women, and particularly these young women. This is what sisterhood is about. Your light is not diminished by someone else's light. But when you come together, right? When illumination and collectivism meet, it forms brilliance. It forms brilliance. So we have to support each other. And leadership and service is about what you do for others, not what they do for you.
Come on. Amen.
Right?
Come on. Preach.
So we're teaching service, right? Service in the relationship. How can I help you? Because the more you give, the more you receive.
Absolutely. And there's something that as I'm listening to you and watching you, I'm thinking of the diamond, and people think about, and I'm assuming this is where you get it from. It's, yes. People see the beautiful diamond that comes out, but the pressure and what that diamond has to go through to get to be a diamond, to be beautiful, to be priceless.
Yes.
Because a diamond, someone put a price on that diamond, yes. But there's diamonds that are totally priceless. You can't even buy it because there's no sellers. And the one thing I've always believed in my heart, that God created me with a unique purpose, with a specific meaning and destiny that no one else can have. That is exactly in my DNA. And that diamond and that pressure of cancer and my testimony that I go through, only I could go through that. So when I share with people, don't compare yourself to me. All I am is a source of hope. All I am is a light of shining light to somebody to look within themselves, find out what is their cancer, what is their pressure point, and how they can become a diamond. So I was listening to you, and I'm just like, I gotta continue this. This is a great conversation.
100% on point, and that's why we're Sister Diamonds, right? Because what God showed me, David, is, you know what? You can have a beautiful diamond, right? But you know what catches your eye when somebody has on a beautiful diamond?
The light.
It's the light that flows through the diamond, right? So unfortunately, sometimes because a diamond is formed under immense heat and immense pressure, sometimes we get trapped, the light gets trapped in us.
Amen.
Because we get hard, right? A diamond is the hardest surface on earth, right? We get hard because we've been through so much. But what makes the diamond precious is that it doesn't have a lot of inclusions in it. And light is able to flow through it. That's the healing.
Amen.
The light comes and flows through. So what you went through, you didn't allow it to harden you. Right? You cleansed out those inclusions.
I did.
And the light shines through you to other people. And guess what, David? What's the only thing that can cut a diamond?
Another one.
Another diamond.
Another diamond. And that's what I was telling you earlier. That I feel like, why am I in this space? And I've already believed that God placed me in that space, and He's gonna enlarge my space to be able to share with other women. But I also want to share with women to be careful, not you, because you already defined it as you're trying to make leaders. The difference with making leaders and just making someone be like you, and then you're comparing yourself, and there is no comparison. I've said to people, your purpose is yours alone. No one is. You're not supposed to even watch someone and try to emulate them. Now, yeah, people say, well, you're like a Tony Robbins, you're like a Joel Osteen. Listen, I'm grateful for that, but they have their testimony, and I look at them and say, wow, if they can do it, I can too. Sure, but I'm not them, and they went through their stories. And you, whoever's listening to the Crystal today, you have your story. You are your own diamond. But here's the thing: until you let that light flow through you, you'll never get a chance to actually see the potential that you actually have inside of you. That diamond will never come to light, right? It's just, isn't that sad? But I love the fact that we were able to like go through that. I also want to say that what you mentioned with your friend, Dr. What's her name? I'm sorry. Dr. Nicole. So Dr. Nicole, that's a divine appointment. That's all that is.
Absolutely.
That's all it is.
Absolutely.
And you're a divine appointment in my life. So, but listen, before I finish this segment, I want to ask you one word. I ask all my guests one word that pushes you, drives you, gives you hope on a daily basis. But I want you to define that word, because here's the thing, Crystal. It could be the same word as somebody else. But your definition and your meaning can maybe break through someone's wall today and give them hope, especially in this season that we're living in right now, that we're looking for hope. I always say find hope, but will you find hope through others? So Crystal, what's your word, and give me the definition?
My word is illumination.
Come on.
God told me at the end of 2019 that 2020 was ushering in a season of illumination. And I didn't know what it meant. I truly didn't know what it meant, but I started, if you look at my social media, I've been saying illumination since the beginning of this year. And for me, I felt like it was my time to shine my light and to be as bright as possible. But he also told me that there was a storm coming and there was some darkness that was going to cover the earth. And it's happening. I had no idea it was going to be, what's going on in the earth right now with the pandemic and all these racial injustices and things that are going on. But illumination is so necessary right now. We all need to shine our lights. And my partner says it's the season of collectivism. So we say when illumination and collectivism comes together, it brings brilliance. Woo. Because when we all shine our lights together, it just gets brighter, right? So you and I having this conversation, two powerful lights shining out into the world. It's a lot of darkness going on right now.
Absolutely.
And people need hope. They need to see light. They need to see people celebrating each other, showing love to each other, being kind, showing empathy and compassion, because there's so much ugliness going on, right?
Absolutely.
So we as the light bearers, as diamonds, have to allow that light to flow through us and show people that there is still good in this world. There's hope. There's people that are still love, people that show love to one another, and there's a better way. So my word is illumination, shining your light for the world to see. Amen.
Well, I want to thank Crystal for her word, her message, illumination, and for her sharing her testimony. It's through your testimony that you're able to share with other people that they too can overcome their challenges. I will have to say that, meeting Crystal was a divine appointment, and to listen to her word illumination, but I like how she defined it. It reminds me of, I always say that your light is meant to shine. You only know what darkness is when you shine a light on it, and then you're able to see what's on the other side. Again, don't be blinded by the darkness and look at that light. See, light's not the only thing that blinds you. When you wake up in the morning and there's no lights in your apartment or your house, you can't see, right? It takes you a second until there's a gleam of light that comes in and illuminates you for your eyes to adjust and look and know where you're going. So illuminate means to me that you need to illuminate the world so you know where you're going. Don't go blind into this world. And the light has always been inside of you. Make sure that you shine through. Let it shine through like a diamond. Well, I want to thank Crystal again and her word to illuminate. And again, remember, to share your story, to be the light. And it helps others find hope, have faith, and live with purpose. God bless you guys. And now I have a special segment that I want to go with Crystal because we have a special announcement. Crystal, I want you to tell me a little bit more about this weekend, because this weekend you've asked me to be part of it. So I am so honored to be part of this, sister. I'm just excited about it. And I'm going to be in what room? What room am I in?
You are in the Empower Her.
I'm going to be in the Empower Her room. And so again, I really want to thank you for allowing me this opportunity, because again, this is women. And again, I feel like I'm somewhere in there. God is bringing women like you in my life to be able to enhance this platform, because I know that my message comes from women that I've coached. So everything that I'm sharing is actually studies and literally empathy that I've heard, their stories, and I just want to share with people so they don't make those mistakes, so they know that they too can live, a life full of potential and purpose. So tell me a little bit more about this event this weekend that I'll be a part of. So I'm getting ready to do a seminar, and we'll be doing live and a Q&A live as well. So
yes, David, we are so excited for the young women of ISP to experience your testimony and your word this weekend. August 1st, we are having the world's largest international slumber party. 10,000 young women from all over the world. 17 countries represented in this slumber party, David. Everywhere from, we've got Nigeria, we've got Cape Town, we've got all over the Caribbean, Mexico, and all over the United States. We're super excited. We are bringing them together for a 24-hour 3D virtual experience in the ISP mansion.
come on.
It is a mansion that we've created for them in the virtual world, and behind every door are nuggets of inspiration and diamonds. Leadership and development, the Empower Her room with motivation and inspiration. Slay Nation, where they'll be learning little tips and tricks like how to create the perfect smoky eye, and how to put together the perfect executive outfit. So there's a little bit for everybody. And on the main stage, we have fantastic speakers like at her feet. We're bringing together Miss Mick Taylor, Large Essence Magazine, and we've got Tyrone Berry, one of your guests.
My buddy Tyrone, the It Factor.
Yes, and Miss Beverly Peel. We've got Shirley Franklin, the former mayor of Atlanta, and Miss Janetta Cole, who is the president of the National Association of Negro Women, and she was also the president of Brickell College and Spelman College. These women, and Ms. Richmond Shockley, she's the president of a nonprofit caring for others for the last 20 years. So these women will be providing insight and knowledge to young women, and these girls are between the ages of 18 and 25, young women of color. We want to empower them. We want to celebrate them. We're going to have fun. We've got some DJs that'll be playing music for them. We've got some games. They'll be networking. But it's about empowering, uplifting, and elevating them so that they leave change. And we want to provide content for them that they normally would not have. Miss Lisa Nichols is giving the keynote address.
Okay.
I didn't hear motivation like Lisa Nichols until I was in my 40s, right? So we're providing this for these young women so that they can have the mentorship, sponsorship, the knowledge to uplift themselves, especially in the current environment.
Wow. Well, listen, like I said, you were the appointment. This finally got a chance to connect and share our stories, and then all of a sudden I was like, "You're doing what?" And I felt very honored to, especially last minute, for you to include me, feeling that my message was something that they needed to hear. So I'm excited. Release the Greatness Inside of You is one of my favorite seminars out of the conference, and we're going to be talking about how you release the greatness inside of you. So I'm going to have all the links underneath in this video or any video that you can look Crystal. I'll make sure I tell her you can go directly to Crystal, or you can go directly to her website. But I will make sure that you guys know how to get into this mansion There's still time, of course, be a VIP-ish and go to everywhere. But remember what she said. She talked about social. She talked about leadership. She talked about empowerment. She talks about all these things in one place. And again, that takes a lot of work. That takes a lot of passion. And that means it takes a lot of belief and faith to believe that you can do that. So I want to commend you for stepping out on faith, Crystal, and believing in your passion, believing in your vision. And I just hope and pray that this seminar that I give to you this weekend will be an absolute golden ticket for someone this weekend, that they will literally find hope through that message and believe in themselves, because that's the biggest thing, is people have it all within them, but it needs somebody to basically polish them sometimes, just to say, hey, let's go. So any other...
I'm sure it's going to bless them. I'm sure it's going to bless them. And you know, like you said, it's been a divine appointment, and every single person that is speaking has been on divine appointment. Every single young woman that will be at this party was pre-chosen on divine appointment.
Homo.
And we just believe if we only touch one, if one walks away.
I just said that. Me and Tyrone just said that. One person, that's it. We do our job. Yeah.
Exactly.
We don't...
Thank you for making yourself available. And I would just tell your audience, if you know a young woman of color between the ages of 18 to 25, send them to internationalslumberparty.com right now to register. And if you want to be a part of this movement and donate and support, you can do that on internationalslumberparty.com. This is a free experience for 10,000 young women of color. I like to just say it's free, because people don't appreciate free. We like to say it's paid for and it's paid forward by people who believe in these young women.
Correct.
They believe in these young women.
There's a foundation, an organization is being very, very, some amazing people are coming together to make this possible. Yeah. So of course, that's what she said. You can go to the website and look at how you can become part of it. So we all, listen, you and me and Crystal, we all have a purpose and we all have a cause. Mine happens to be, children with cancer. That's my nonprofit, but I'm also a part of domestic violence and a couple different foundations that deal with domestic violence and trafficking. So I also lend my time to that. So you can have multiple causes. Don't ever think that just you have one. But again, if this touches your heart, of course, and that's why I wanted Crystal and her message, because I wanted you to hear directly from her. So Crystal, again, just thank you for letting me be part of this, and I hope that this grows into something absolutely miraculously, because I believe in miracles. I am one. So I have nothing but faith. So again, thank you for joining me today on LifeChangers4Life. I look forward to talking to you the next couple of days as we get ready to launch this 24-hour live event global. So again, I'll be putting more stuff on Instagram, Facebook, don't worry. But God bless you guys, and thank you, Crystal.